I'm gonna hope that's correct. Alright, so what I wanted to do was drive this car after installing the after installing the center radiator, and I wanted to drive it on a hot day like today, which is like, it was like close to 100 degrees earlier, and I don't know what the temperature is right now. I should check probably. So it's 81 degrees. It's kind of rush hour, so the install for the center radiator was relatively straightforward, but it was pretty, I'm not gonna say difficult, but it's a lot of steps. You know, I did some research online on YouTube. There were some good tutorials on Pelican parts, and then also with FCP Euro, their videos. But there was nothing out there that was all-inclusive in terms of like removing everything, getting the radiator installed, and then doing the EMC squared or EMC2 duct adapter, whatever modification I'm going to call it. Basically, what you can do if you own a 997.2, the center radiator kit from Porsche, or I guess the distributors that are out there, is expensive. Like, it's something like well over $1,000. And there's a hack where you can buy the 996 version or the 997.1 version, which uses the exact same Porsche radiator, center radiator, and you buy that kit for like $200, $300 maybe. There's different prices out there, but I think the cheapest was a little over 200 or around 300. I can't remember. You buy that kit. There's a couple pieces that you won't need, and then you buy an additional part specifically for the 997.2, and then you use that costs like 200 something, and then you buy this, if you want, you buy this adapter kit from EMC Square. I'm going to call it Square, but there's a 2 there. And that basically makes it seamless. It looks pretty nice. So you're saving, I don't know, $300 to $400, I think, if you did everything. You compare the two versions, and so I think it's worth it. Just a matter of kind of, you know, making sure you order the correct parts and all that. And that was the goal of that video, was to make it as a step-by-step how-to. The other thing I did while I had the car up on the stands and the bottom panels off, the rear one, as I changed the transmission fluid. So I bought the Porsche OEM, or Porsche version of the transmission fluid. It's some heavyweight, but I bought the Porsche brand. I needed about 3.5 liters, 3.6 or so liters, and it's pretty expensive stuff. It's around $40 online. So I bought that and changed out the transmission fluid. And I'm glad I did, because the fluid that came out of it was pretty old, and I want to say it's been changed before, which is kind of, you know, I don't know, surprising, because this car, when I bought it, only had less than 20,000 miles on it. Granted, it's X amount of years old, but in any case, I thought the fluid would be kind of still kind of clean looking or whatever, and it wasn't. It was actually pretty dirty. And when I changed it, I could kind of notice a difference in how smoother it was. I mean, the best way I can describe it is that it just felt like there's fresh oil. You just feel like how smooth it went in. So I think it's worth it. It was what, 40 times 4, under $60. And then it was a super simple process to drain out the oil and then refill it. I will say this: there are 2 ports, a refill port and a fill port, and they're 2 different lanes. So that's something that you should be aware of. I wasn't aware of that until I kind of did some research to try to figure out what torque those plugs go back at, and one video said, whatever, crucial step or something like that. So I was like, all right, I'll take a look at what's so crucial about it. And it turned out I needed that info because I was at the fill port, which is higher than the fill port or fill level port. And had I filled it all the way up to the fill port, I would have had way too much oil in there. So bear that in mind. It's there's 2 different ports. They're on the same side. And anyways, so I think it's worth it. So overall, I'm really happy with how the install went. It looks really clean. That adapter, even though it's pretty expensive, it's just nice and clean. It makes it look pretty OEM or factory. Also, I'm really glad I changed out the transmission fluid. So this car is getting to the point where I'm really like feeling like it's dialed in. I really enjoy it. It's traffic, and I remember like at the beginning of when I got this car, I was thinking that I would not modify it, but yeah, that's obviously not happening. I just think the car was just too mellow for me. It wasn't kind of raw enough for what I was hoping for. So the next thing I ordered was the Fab Speed, quote unquote cold air, high flow air intake. It's a carbon piece, and the main reason I'm doing that is because the air ducts that usually attach to the rear deck, the bottom of the rear deck, there's these 2 air ducts, rubber air ducts. I never had mine, or the car never came with it. That I should say. And I bought them. I bought the correct ones, but they don't fit on this aftermarket rear deck that I have, which it has a wing on it. It has ports. There's little air intake or air whatever. However, it does not have a way to attach those. So what I did was I kind of like MacGyvered a way to attach it to the air box, and I don't like my solution. This isn't good. I don't like my solution because it's really like a hack job, and there's the metal pieces in there that clamp it down. So I really don't like that. And so part of me getting this air box, this air intake box, is so that I don't have to deal with that at all. And basically, it's an open type box, and there's kind of like a divider between the engine and where this air is being drawn from, and I'm hoping that there's not a lot of hot engine air going into that area. Rather, it's being drawn in from, or pushed. Cold air is being pushed into that area. But it looks really cool. That's the other thing. That's a plus, obviously. It looks kind of cool. It might increase the sound of the engine, which is a plus for me. Anything that makes this experience louder, for me, is a good thing. I'd like it to be pretty raw. the temp, it's about 220. It's about 220. That was pretty hard driving, I'm gonna say. And it's a hot day, 87 degrees, 220. It's dropping. We're about 210, 215 maybe, 210. It's dropping pretty quickly here. Anyways, I can't say I noticed a huge difference in the temperature. I didn't do a 1-to-1 or anything like that. But just knowing that I have an extra center radiator gives me some peace of mind. There we go.